I built my first ever PC 20 years ago. Back when I was in high school, I gave up my summer holidays working in a factory earning minimum wage. After 2 weeks, I had finally saved up enough to build my first ever PC. It wasn't anything special, an entry-level computer costing under $1,000. But to me, it meant a lot. It was that spark, I don't know, it lit an interest, and it's probably what ended up getting me into IT, having a 15-year-long career, and ultimately that's what led me to creating this tech channel and creating videos like the one you're watching now. But that dream of building PCs, that's now dead. It's been taken away from me, from you, and from everyone else. We've seen RAM prices triple, GPUs being in really short supply, SSDs are now going through the roof. To show you how bad it is, I built this mid-range PC 9 years ago. The total build came out to 2,200 Australian dollars. To do a similar build today, you're looking at double that. In fact, I've wanted to build a new PC for quite some time, but it's just prohibitively expensive. In fact, I had to spend my entire PC budget on two parts, a GPU and a power supply. That's all I managed to get for $2,000. So what the hell is going on? All roads point back to AI and this guy. Now, you've probably noticed AI is everywhere. It's in every product, every service. It's all CEOs talk about, and it's being shoved down our throat whether we like it or not. Unfortunately, the companies that supply the PC parts for our computers, like Nvidia and Crucial for RAM, well, they also supply parts for AI data centers. And unfortunately for us, those corporate interests building out the AI data centers, they pay a hefty premium. By focusing on those corporate interests, companies like Nvidia can make a lot more money. I mean, just look at this graph. It's worked out extremely well for them, and they are now the biggest company in the entire world. Good for them, but it really sucks for us who just want to build a PC. We now make up less than 10% of Nvidia's total earnings, with the rest being AI data centers. In a normal market, this doesn't matter. When you have an increase in demand, normally you ramp up supply to meet it. Unfortunately, the tech industry isn't that simple. Supply is relatively inelastic. That means it's very difficult to ramp up supply quickly. Let me explain exactly why that is. You've probably heard of brands like ASUS, Gigabyte, MSI. They're the companies we buy end products like this from. I'm not sure of the technical term, but think of them as a reseller. They don't create the graphics card, Nvidia does. They put it together and put their packaging on it. But when I said Nvidia makes a graphics card, well, that was actually incorrect. Nvidia doesn't make anything, and that might surprise you. They own the intellectual property rights and design for their graphics card, but they actually get it manufactured by another company called TSMC. They're mainly headed up in Taiwan, and they are the one and only company that can create these GPUs in the entire world. Not only that, but they manufacture just about every other chip in the world. Samsung, Apple, Google, it all comes from this one factory. They do this in specialized factories called fabs. And while they are looking to expand out into other areas, like they're opening up a new one in Texas, it can take up to 4 years and $20 billion to complete. It takes a lot of time and a lot of money. And because TSMC has contracts with just about everyone in the entire world, Nvidia can't just offer them a lot more money because they have other contracts to fulfill. So Nvidia gets a set portion of manufacturing, and they have to decide how much of that manufacturing they allocate to gamers and how much they give to AI data centers. Now, you take a guess on how that allocation is going for us based on availability. When you have big corporations paying a premium, they are going to get the bulk of the manufacturing capability, which is exactly why we're seeing GPU shortages and prices go up. Now, where does SAM fit into all of this? Okay, late last year, sometime around November, he placed a massive order. One so big that it takes up 40% of the global RAM supply. You heard that right. One company is taking up 40% of the entire world's RAM supply. He's got signed contracts and these go for like the next 5 years. This isn't a problem that's going to go away. Just like GPUs, RAM is also very inelastic. There are only 3 companies in the entire world that manufacture it. And after this news broke, one of those companies decided they're not even going to sell their RAM to us consumers anymore. They're only going to sell to AI data centers. What makes Sam's purchase even worse is he purchased the underlying silicon wafers that are in the factories. These companies take silicon wafers and they can then manufacture that into either DDR-RAM that goes into our machine or HBM, which is high memory bandwidth, which is used in AI data centers. He did not buy the finished product to use in an AI data center. He bought the underlying resource required that everyone else needs. The headline is he's doing this for an upcoming data center that he's building out. But my personal take on it is they are losing the AI race. Gemini and Claude are far superior, especially when it comes to work-related tasks, which is where all the money is. I think OpenAI is really struggling, and without cash injections, they're going to go bankrupt pretty soon. And I believe this was a Hail Mary to slow down their competition. If they can hog all of the resources required, that makes it much more difficult and much more expensive for the competitors to train their next level of frontier models. That's what I think it was really about, kneecapping their competition, and as a result, we're just collateral damage and see RAM tripling in price. Like I mentioned, there are only 3 companies in the world that manufacture RAM, and unfortunately, just like TSMC, they can't quickly spin up new factories. To get the actual machinery they need to manufacture the RAM, again, it comes from one company. In fact, it looks like something out of a sci-fi. This is the machine here. It's called an EUV machine. It's really fascinating stuff. But the gist is, it's just very expensive and time-consuming to ramp up supply. And that's where we are today. And that kind of leads us to the next question of, when will this get better? And will it get better at all? We honestly don't know. As long as this AI hype craze stays alive, we're going to continue to have shortages. Now, we are starting to see cracks. It's clear that OpenAI is struggling. They're starting to do desperate moves, like putting ads into their product. Right now, everyone's in an arms race. They're spending so much capital expenditure on trying to train the next best frontier model. I think eventually companies like OpenAI are going to go bankrupt. The realities are going to hit. There's no way a company making $10 billion in revenue can realistically commit to over $1 trillion in spending commitments. But that's where we are now. When the economic realities hit and companies like OpenAI can't raise any more funds and start to go bankrupt, only then do I think prices will start to come down and stabilize. Unfortunately for us, while it's a bubble, it's unsustainable, and eventually things will normalize, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, and I think this is going to continue for at least the next couple of years. Hopefully by then, investors will realize the economics aren't working out the way they were sold, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that's why we can no longer afford to buy PCs. I'd love to know, what do you guys think about the situation? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, as a thank you to making it to the end of my video, I've got 2 free resources for you guys. First is the exact resume that I've used to land every single job over my 15 years. It's also landed me some really big interviews at top tech companies. So if you're in the market for a new job, that should help you get past the application tracking software that a lot of companies use. And if you don't yet work in tech, but you want to, I've created a completely free 7-day mini course. It's completely free. Just chuck your email in and you'll get the first lesson within 5 minutes. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.